French cops drag pro-Palestinian protesters from their tents and dismantle their camp in operation lasting a few minutes at Paris's Sorbonne University. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., they've been struggling for weeks with these terrorists. France comes in, and a few minutes later, okay, all clean, business as usual. Why can't this be done in the U.S.? Police moved in to clear dozens of protesters who had set up tents in the courtyard at Sorbonne University in Paris on Monday to protest against the war in Gaza. I don't know how screwing up a French university is going to accomplish anything, but okay. Video captured the moment the police dragged protesters away from the courtyard in the university, which was founded in 1257. Dang, that's longer than the U.S. has been around. French cops were seen dragging protesters out of tents and were also seen cutting up the tents as the crowd behind them booed and jeered. The demonstration took place 3 days after protests at the capital's elite sciences Po University, and it came in the wake of rallies and campuses across the U.S. Against the conflict. We set up tents like in several U.S. universities, Sorbonne student Louis Magier said. We are doing all we can to raise awareness about what's happening in Palestine and about the ongoing genocide in Gaza. You don't want to be copying the U.S. in a country whose cops don't copy the U.S. Yeah, this is something I've talked about before. Growing up in a military family, living overseas, and seeing how some Americans act and what happened to them. Yeah, this was a pretty big thing in Germany, actually, where whenever a U.S. soldier or family member would get in trouble with the German police, they acted with the German police like they do with the American police. And sometimes they literally got their asses beat because the German police don't fuck around like the American police do. They don't just sit there and take your abuse. They learned really damn quick to be on their best behavior. Police then came running in, brought down the tents, grabbed students by the collar, and dragged them to the ground. That's not okay. We're quite shocked, he said. Oh, yeah. It's not okay. We should be allowed to disrupt anyone we want without consequences. But it's bad when someone disrupts us. Fellow student Lou said, what we're pushing for is peace, and they answer with force and violence. Oh, fuck right off. You force your way onto someone else's property and disrupt it, and then try to claim, oh, we're peaceful. Okay, then we're going to give you a chance to peacefully get up and leave. There you go. You want to keep this peaceful? You can peacefully get up and walk away. If you don't, well, too bad. You know what's waiting for you. The BFM TV showed footage of the police dragging a couple of the students out. A police source confirmed that intervened to clear the Sorbonne's courtyard. This operation, which lasted only a few minutes, was carried out peacefully without incident, the source said. There you go. They didn't respond with violence. They carried it out peacefully, right? The source said declined to respond to questions on how the students had been removed by the scruffs of their necks. The university, one of the world's oldest, closed its buildings for the day during the peaceful protests. Students chanted Free Palestine and urged the institution to condemn Israel. Could you imagine if some right-winger did this? Yeah, they'd be called Nazis. Maybe if the Defamation League and them weren't so busy manufacturing fake Nazis, they could have seen this coming. But yeah, they're on their own now. So Israel has imposed a siege on Gaza and mounted an air and ground assault in which at least 34,000 Palestinians have been minecrafted. Israeli strikes on southern Gaza city of Rafah have minecrafted at least 22 people, including 6 women and 5 children, Palestinian health officials have said. One of the children's minecraft in the strike overnight into Monday was just 5 days old. Israel has regularly carried out airstrikes on Rafah since the start of the war and has threatened to send in ground troops, saying Rafah is the last major Hamas stronghold in the coastal enclave. Over 1 million Palestinians have sought refuge in the Shidi on the Egyptian border, and the U.S. and others have urged Israel not to invade, fearing a humanitarian catastrophe. Yeah, at that point, Israel should just say, okay, you step in and fix it then. Israel's actions came in response to an attack on the southern Israel on October 7th by militants of the Palestinian group Hamas, in which 253 people were taken hostage and about 1,200 were Minecrafted, according to Israeli tallies. Several French politicians, including Mathilde Panot, who heads the far-left LFI group of lawmakers in the National Assembly, have urged supporters on social media to join the Sorbonne protests. Last week, the protest broke out on another elite university in the French capital region, the Paris Institute of Political Studies, known as Sciences Po, which counts Macron and Prime Minister Gabriel Attal among its many famous alumni. Must not be that good then, if that's the quality of student they're churning out, huh? Whatever. Tensions broke out on campus as pro-Palestinian students, inspired by Gaza solidarity encampments and campuses in the U.S., sought to occupy an amphitheater. And then they learned real quick that the French cops don't fuck around. So on Friday, pro-Palestine and pro-Israel demonstrators faced each other in a tense standoff in the street outside the school. Riot police stepped in to separate opposing groups. Let them take care of each other. So the protest ended peacefully and students agreed to evacuate the building late on Friday. The head of Sciences Po said an agreement with students had been reached. Yeah, so if that agreement wasn't either you guys leave or you get expelled, then they still cucked out. Why would they tolerate this? Man, if anyone is being this disruptive, just expel them. Okay, yeah, you want to be this way? All right, you're no longer welcome here. Whenever you're done with whatever you're doing, go back to your dorm, grab your stuff, and don't come back. Solve so many problems. It will be best for the students, too, because chances are pretty high that it's college that turned them into this. If they got expelled, if they got pushed out of college, maybe their brainwashing would wear off, too. At least they'd save money, wouldn't be getting a useless degree. Everyone wins.